Breaking this morning, not a good time for jobs. Severe weather battered the U.S. economy in September, leading to the first job losses since 2010. The labor market lost 33,000 jobs last month, though the unemployment rate fell to 4.2%, the lowest since 2001. But keep in mind, economists say the overall employment market is strong. Latest with Tropical Storm Nate. Here we go again. Tropical Storm Nate is expected to hit the Gulf Coast this weekend as a hurricane. When it will make landfall in the U.S., late Saturday or early Sunday. Breaking this a.m., Bergdahl expected to plead guilty via the Associated Press's Josh Lederman and Lolita C. Balder. Army Sergeant Bergdahl, who was held captive by the Taliban for half a decade after abandoning his Afghanistan post, is expected to plead guilty to desertion and misbehavior before the enemy. Bergdahl's decision to plead guilty rather than face trial marks another twist in an 8-year drama that caused the nation to wrestle with difficult questions of loyalty, negotiating with hostage-takers and America's commitment not to leave its troops behind. What to watch today? Birth control mandate. President Trump is lifting the federal requirement for employers to include birth control in their employees' health insurance plans. The new rules make the argument that the Affordable Care Act does not specifically mandate contraceptive coverage. The update on gun legislation. The NRA slides a little over in its seat to make room. The National Rifle Association broke its silence on the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history, calling for additional regulations on bump stocks like those used by the Las Vegas shooter, which allow semi-automatic guns to fire much more rapidly. Why this is big? The NRA almost always opposes proposals to strengthen gun control laws or regulations. But support is growing in both parties for this type of regulation, so the NRA is taking a cautious approach. The wild card in this debate, the president, as rare bipartisan momentum builds on Capitol Hill for a change to gun laws, the wild card in the debate might be the man in the White House. President Trump has a long and varied history on gun reform. What Trump has said. Trump yesterday said he is open to considering legislation. We'll be looking into that over the next short period of time, Trump said when asked by reporters whether he would support a ban on the attachment known as a bump stock. Op-ed on bump stocks. In an op-ed for The Hill, political analyst Mark Plotkin argues why he thinks bump stocks should be outlawed. Getting traction. Done. DUNNNN, via The Hill's Jordan Carney and Naomi Jagoda, the GOP's push for tax reform legislation is showing some early signs of trouble. With Republicans pivoting to their second big agenda item, leadership is facing a familiar dynamic: divisions among members, competing demands and no room for error. Republicans have failed to score a major legislative win this year despite having the first unified GOP government in a decade. And they're under intense pressure from both supporters and outside group. It's a no from me, via The Washington Post's Julietta Albrinawa asked for help fixing their health care market. Then, President Trump told the head of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Seema Verma, to say no. Say it ain't so. CUL8R, XOSOCCRGURRLXO104, AOL Instant Messenger is officially shutting down on December 15 after 20 years. Their reasoning: AIM tapped into new digital technologies and ignited a cultural shift, but the way in which we communicate with each other has profoundly changed, said Michael Albers, the vice president of communications of the service's parent company.